live. All
All
right, so
right.
like always, let's just give it a few minutes. Give it like a minute or two so we can get started while notifications go out and stuff like that.
All
So
right.
for everybody that's watching, make sure to hit that subscribe, show your support. We're doing this live stream. We got the special guest today. I got Film God, right?
Yep, that's correct.
So talk about yourself a little bit. Let people know what you want to let them know.
Oh, not much. I've been just like you. I've been following this whole mess with DC and Warner Brothers for like almost like the past like few years now. Ever since like Justice League theatrical came out,
Right.
and obviously we all know what's been going on for the last few years, and so I just wanted to discuss about like what's been going on recently with James Gunn's the plan for his DCU and like everything that's been going on at Warner Brothers with their stocks and it's David Zaslav, it's been fucking up the company.
Yeah, everything's been going downhill with that.
Yeah, and it's just funny because it's like you remember back a few years ago with when before it was Warner Brothers Discovery, it was Warner Media with Jason Kilar was the CEO.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. That's when things started going downhill from that.
Yeah, but what's funny is I think I feel like Jason Kilar was actually right the whole time about his whole day and date strategy with with when it was HBO Max at the time,
Right.
and I feel like it's just like back in the day, people thought he was like messing up the company, and that's why they had to go into emerging stage and with Discovery. And then fucking
Yeah.
one, I remember when Zaslav came in, he was kind of like talking shit about Jason Kilar, but now it's like after him losing the company like $10 billion, it seems like Kilar has got the last laugh on him, and it's just like it proves that he was right all along.
Yeah. Yeah. He was letting us know ahead of time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been nuts, like I said, and I talked about it a few months ago. We're talking about June. That was June, I don't know, I think it was like June 18 or something like that. And
Hmm.
here we are again, August at 6.99. It's
Hmm.
ridiculous, when you think about that. Like this big company has been around for over 100 years. They've been putting out good quality content and stuff like that. But I want to say after like probably within the last 6 years, they've like it's just been going downhill. The last thing that they did that was good and quality was with the Snyderverse and some of the Harry Potters. I'm not sure if they also own Lord of the Rings, but things like that were still good. And then once this whole reboot and everything that they wanted to bring in James Gunn and become Marvel, and like DC has fully gone Marvel. It's like,
Hmm.
well, look at what you've allowed this. It's like San Diego Comic Con this year was, look, for the past probably 4 years, they've been dropping the ball. When they stopped doing DC fandom, which was I think it was like after the pandemic, like probably a year or two after it.
Yeah, like
It's
two or
like,
3 years ago. It's funny. It's like
yeah,
they stopped doing they said they were going to stop doing DC fan and we're going to go back to Comic Con, but yet where the fuck were they at Comic Con? And I was there
exactly.
just a few weeks ago.
Damn, how was
It's like,
it? How was it? Like, let us know.
well, it was cool and all, but I went to mostly all the like most of the DC panels. I went to Batman Cape Crusader panel, and dude, I don't know about you, it's they've been dropping the ball with DC and animation hard time lately.
Yeah.
I was last week. I watched the whole first season of Cape Crusader, and bro, I fell asleep. I just
Man,
like I don't know. It's like it's just like it was not like hyped up to what it was made to be.
right,
Especially
right. Yeah,
seeing
I've
all
been
this
seeing a
whole
lot of
gender
stuff.
and race swapping they've been doing with the characters.
That's
It's
what they've
just a
been screwing up with, man.
it's because it's like they had both J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves involved, and I just feel like they both kind of fucked up the whole series in a way.
Yeah, that's
And I feel like
crazy.
Bruce
What
Timm's
up,
kind of
Sean?
lost his touches too.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It's
I
crazy
honestly
when you
don't even
look
know
at it.
why. Sorry, what was it?
No, it's cool. It's cool. I was gonna say that it's crazy how things have shifted and changed now. recently, like in the past few years, Marvel was the one pushing all these agendas and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden now WB's the one doing that. And now Marvel is delivering quality. Look at today, they're crushing it, like with what is it, what is this whole D3, whatever it's called? And
Yeah,
it's like,
D23.
man, yeah, D23 is nuts, and this could have been DC, with DC fandom again. I really don't know what I mean, look, oh, this is just me tinfoil hat if we want to say. I'm thinking that there's somebody inside of WB that wants to destroy this company. There's no and ifs or buts. That's what I think, and that's what's going on. How the hell do you have Henry Cavill at Marvel? You got Gal Gadot at Marvel. I won't be surprised if Ben Affleck comes back to Marvel as Daredevil. And then on top of that,
Wait,
we
what's
got
Gal
Jared
Gadot
Leto
doing at
also.
Marvel?
She's gonna be doing well, not Marvel, but with Disney. Let's just say how it is with Disney with this whole
Oh yeah.
Snow White, the Snow White thing. So it's like, what the hell? They just announced that. I think it was yesterday, or today, and I'm like, whoa! Like it's like Disney's like, okay, well, DC doesn't want to do anything with these actors and actresses. Let's bring them over,
What I don't
and they know that
what
the
I don't
Snyder
understand
fans
is
are gonna follow.
it's like with Disney, what since they own Marvel and Star Wars, it seems like they're realizing stuff they've been messing up with Marvel. But it's like, what's taking them so long to fix it with shit with Star Wars and that in? It's like seriously, I don't know how the fuck like Kathleen Kennedy's still there and shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's all like people just helping each other to not like get fired or something. But I have a feeling Kevin Feige is gonna come down and just start like completely like axing everything and saying, you know what, the same thing that he's been doing. Like apparently now they're canceling what is it, Captain Marvel. At least in the comics, I don't know in the live action with everything that's been going on, especially with the Marvels, how bad that flopped at the box office. And it's like he's cleaning house, but at the same time, it's like, can you really clean house? I mean, you guys have been doing damage for a while now, and it's
Well,
like,
that's the thing
come
with
on.
Deadpool and Wolverine. I feel like that's mostly was Ryan Reynolds, and less
Yeah.
Kevin Feige, if you know what I mean. But it's like
Right. Yeah.
I saw it and I thought it was like decent. I thought it was better than Deadpool 2, but I still think the first one was better. But it's
Oh,
because
for
it's
sure.
like I don't know, I was disappointed. I remember they lied. They said that they were going to bring back the original X-Men cast for this, but they never showed up
Yeah.
or appeared in it
Yeah.
other than Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and it that was only a variant. It wasn't even like the original. And I just felt like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
movie didn't really felt like it was going anywhere. Like, what was it really
Yeah.
trying to set up, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they
That's what I
said
was
like, "Oh,
thinking
it's
too when I saw it. I was like,
what was that?"
no, no, go ahead. I guess like the signal kind of cut off.
Oh yeah, no, it's just saying it's like I didn't feel like it really wasn't going anywhere with that. I just feel
Yeah.
like it was all just fan service, you know.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it felt like too. Like they were just trying to capitalize, milk the nostalgia fans, and the whole thing with that. And if you look at what they're doing now, it's okay. I'm not gonna say that it was like, it was horrible, but it was okay. I mean, the first one is the best. The second one was trash, and the third one was just like, okay, you can feel this whole Disney, like you can just tell it's a Disney Deadpool type, just like the Suicide Squad, where it's like, okay, this is just James Gunn just slapped with a rated R just to try to like please the hardcore fans, if you want to say. But
Yeah,
now
I
they're
saw some.
moving away. Yeah,
I was no, I just saw some clip of someone video of Tron 3 with Jared Leto in it. That looks pretty cool.
yeah, yeah, that looks good.
And
I'm gonna check
Incredibles
that one out for
3.
sure.
And my sister went there and she said she heard something about a live action Atlantis. They're doing a live action Atlantis.
Oh, oh wow. Like I know they're doing a live action Lilo and Stitch now. I didn't see the trailer, but I saw something of it. So I'm like, man, like Disney's really going all out with their live action of everything.
Well, I mean, yeah, they are, but then they'll probably add some woke agenda shit to them when you go see the
Oh, for
movie.
sure, for
I don't
sure.
know. Yeah,
You know, you-
it's like I kind of don't want to
it,
give Disney my money too,
I'm with you on that.
which is
I
like
fully
I
agree.
had a when I went to go see Deadpool Wolverine, I had a friend who paid for my ticket. I'm like, all right,
Okay,
and
yeah,
then
that's different.
I got a free IMAX ticket to Alien Romulus from Comic Con, so I'm not going to spend money
Oh,
on that.
nice.
So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice, nice. That I
So yeah,
want to
it's like
see. Hopefully they
I
don't
just
let us down with that.
yeah, I don't want to give I don't want to give both Disney and WB my money.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And there's a lot of fans like that now, and especially WB, like as a fan, I've been a long time supporter of them. And, I've always given money, movies and, like collectibles and comics and all that stuff, games and all that. But what they've been doing the past few years is like, man, you know what? Like, how can this big company with these huge IPs, I'm talking about Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, like people confuse these characters with Marvel characters, It's like, how do you screw that up? But I get it. There's people who don't know the difference. But
Yeah.
how the hell do you have these massive IPs, Batman alone, and you don't do anything with him? And then when you bring him into into the cinematic universe, you either like take them out one way that's like, why would you do that? Look at what they did in the squad game, like they completely like took him out, when Harley took him out and stuff, it's just
Yeah.
wow, like what the hell is going on, like it's like they don't like their own character. I'm like, how?
Yeah, I don't know. Um it's interesting, guys. So I feel like they kind of went downhill after BVS. It's
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
that's
and
when they
and the
started
thing is,
becoming reactionary for no.
and the problem with WB and a lot of companies is the following. They like to cater to the critics. When it comes to
Yeah.
this entertainment business, you cannot bend the knee and you can't cater to the critics. That's what I like about Netflix. Netflix doesn't give a damn. They're like, we don't care about the critics. We're making money. And that's what it
Well,
is. They're making money. And that's
that's
what,
what I was gonna talk to you
yeah.
about. I feel like Netflix kind of botched the whole marketing for Rebel Moon, the director's cuts,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. And as I feel like it's because they changed leaderships recently with Dan Lin coming in, and I just feel like I
Yep.
don't know. I
Yep.
feel like
That's
those
what it is.
rumors about his Army of the Dead universe is being shelved, and I don't know. Maybe I, I think Rebel Moon might be next. I hope
Yep.
not, but
And
because I really
I
do think those Rebel Moon cuts were really good.
They were good. But what I think is like what you're saying also, that bastard Dan Lin, he's friends with James Gunn and he's really good friends with Toby Emmerich. So behind closed doors, of course they're gonna be talking and saying, hey, how can we screw over Zach and what else can we do? Oh, that's right. Let's cancel his Rebel Moon. Let's cancel Army of the Dead. Let's cancel everything that he was announcing. And I think that's what's coming. Sadly, I see that that's coming. It's preparing us. Yes, it started as a rumor, but sometimes when these rumors go out there, they tend to come true, and it sucks because let's not forget. Let's go back when they were like, "Oh, the Snyder Cut doesn't exist. It's never gonna happen." And boom, what happens now? We have it.
Mhm.
That's why I'm like, man, you know what? That's gonna suck. But
And
at
it's
the
because
same
of
time,
Jason Killar too.
yep, yep. It's all of these people that they're all together that they're just trying to make it difficult for Zach. And then now you have what's his name? Walter Hamada. He's over at Paramount. So it's like I don't see anything. If let's say, for example, the worst comes to worst,
Yeah, but
and they
they're also
do
about to be bought up by Sony, aren't they?
something like that, or some other company, I don't know, something about that I was hearing that they it
Yeah,
went through
I
the
heard that they
deal or
were going to
something.
get bought up by Sony and that they were going to cancel Paramount Plus and all that.
Oh, that would be nice.
So
That would be
who
nice.
knows if that happens? Who knows if Walter Amon is going to still be there or whatnot?
Yeah. hmm I mean,
Because
there's
with
so
all the
many things that
murder,
are going on.
yeah, it's just Hollywood in general is going downhill.
Yeah, but that's a
I think
problem. They don't want to.
the only studio that's still kind of been staying on top consistently is Universal.
Yeah,
Which
Universal's
I
the
don't
one that
understand. Why hasn't Zach gone over there since he's already made a movie with Dawn of the Dead for them,
I
and
was about
his
to
buddy
say that.
Christopher Nolan is over there. So I'm like, how come he
Yep.
hasn't gone? They haven't hooked him up to come over there to make movies for him. You know?
Yep. But look, check this out now that you said that, because I was about to talk to you about that. And let's just say we're just speculating, all right? So everybody that's watching and all that stuff, appreciate y'all for tuning in. We see you, Geek Defense. We see you, Sean. Appreciate everybody. All right. Look, when it comes to let's just put the worst of the worst, but something positive real quick. How? Let's say, for example, Netflix, because of Dan Lin, does cancel Rebel Moon, does cancel Army of the Dead, and everything that's associated with Zack Snyder. Okay, that's cool. Look at this big what if. WB continues to sink, right? They're real bad. 6.99. Okay. It's gonna keep on dropping as we get closer into 2025, if we even make it with this whole DCU reboot and stuff like that. Don't be surprised if a tax write off comes off from this. But let's just say and speculate that now we have a bidding war, right? Netflix is going at it and Universal. And like I said it recently in one of my streams, I don't know if you've seen it, but if Netflix or Universal, either or, were to buy completely WB, or at least they bid and they buy like the IPs of like DC and stuff, that could be a big, massive win for us because, like you said, Christopher Nolan is at Universal. How do we know that Christopher Nolan is right now not talking with Universal and saying, "Hey, hold off. The stocks are dropping. They're at 6.99. Let's wait because we know they're gonna keep on dropping. Don't buy yet. We're gonna wait until it probably hits 5 or probably 4, and then we make the sale.
Well,
Like
can
we
I
go
ask you
for
that?
it."
I
And
was
then
going
the
to ask
same
you. I'm
thing
like, how has it not have reached 5 or 4 at this point now? I'm surprised by that, to be honest.
because they still have content where people are still a little bit interested, so it's keeping them afloat. But if you see it, it doesn't go into the green. It just it doesn't pass 7 and some change. It hasn't reached at 8. The only time it passed and got into the green recently was when that whole announcement with Zach doing the whole thing with 300, the prequel or whatever. That's the only time it went up to the green in almost a year. So that tells you everything. That's a big sign. And I'm for sure that Universal and Netflix knows because that's why we got Rebel Moon. If they weren't interested, they wouldn't be investing in it. But Universal's on the side looking at these numbers and they're like, you know what? Let's see what this is all about. Okay, Zach has a following. Okay, cool. The numbers are moving, people are watching. So okay, there's profit.
Yeah, but
There's a big
with the
fandom
amount of
in.
debt, sorry, what I was saying is with the amount
Go
of
for it.
debt
Go.
they have, what kind of why would any company want to buy them though?
That's okay. Remember, if a company buys them, they can clear out their assets and they could clear out a whole bunch of things. Let's, for example, look, perfect example. You're into real estate, all right? You're a realtor and you flip houses. You know that this house is in a bad area, a bad neighborhood. It's all torn down. You have to do the plumbing, you have to do the roof, you have to do the garden, all this stuff. Okay. But you see that there's potential in that house. So you're like, or an apartment, whatever it is. So you're like, you know what? It's going to cost me this much just to buy it. And it's going to cost me this much to repair it. But if I flip it, and I know I can flip it, I can make back what I invested. And on top of that, start making profit. How? You look at the property and you're like, all right, in the back I could build probably an efficiency. I could build a lot that I could sell that lot, whatever. You're gonna look at it in ways where you can make money off of your own product, maybe Universal, Netflix, whoever buys it, and WB, they're like, you know what? We want to keep DC, but we don't want to keep Network. We could sell that, or we could lease it. How? They could lease it to Hulu, which is still Disney. They could sell it off to Amazon. They could sell portions off of it to certain companies, and they're like, you know what? We don't care about that brand. For example, I don't know, just whatever little small brands that they have, little IPs. They can either lease them or just fully sell them, make their money back because remember they get a big percentage plus they get a percentage of of what's coming in. For example, look, you have the Hulk. Universal owns the Hulk. When Marvel makes a movie like the Avengers and they need the Hulk, they have to give a percentage, even though Marvel and Disney own the Hulk. Yes, but they don't own the rights to the movies, the video games, or the rights. That's where Universal comes in. And Universal's like, well, you don't want to pay me for your own IP, then you don't get to use it. But it hurts Marvel in the long run. And that's why they did what they did with Spider Man. They have to pay Sony a percentage, and then Sony also gets a percentage from the profits that they all make for using Spider-Man in their universe. So the same thing comes down to this. If somebody buys WB, they have to give either two things: a percentage to whoever they're selling it, or they're gonna lease it, and then they make some type of money back from that. So it's like, okay, it's a win-win for them. If they sell it, even better. They can make probably a little bit more and get out that debt and sell that debt to somebody else.
Uh,
What do you think?
Interesting. Yeah, they could, but I'm surprised they haven't actually tried to do any of that with Zaslav in charge.
Yeah, Zazzaloff is he's completely running this whole company into the ground. He doesn't know about this. Where he came from, he's from Discovery, right, or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, he even said it that he has no idea of anything of these things that are going on. Oh, that's a good
that's
point.
true.
What
He's
somebody
kind of
pointing out. Look at what somebody posted. Geek Defense. He's like, or IPs they don't use like Harry Potter or Twilight. Exactly. They're not using those IPs. They could sell them. They could lease them. They could do like, for example, like video games. Okay, certain video games they haven't been out in years, but then they put out merchandise for it, and it's like, okay, they don't care about that, but they're still putting out merchandise. So it's like that sucks. But they're still making money off of it because there's a license. There's a percentage that they have to make back from it. So it's like
hmm
a lot of like paperwork where they still get paid. So to them it's like, well, we don't care. We're making our money back, and that's how they could clear off that debt for whatever that is. And then they start going back into the green because it's already being paid off because somebody else is using it and they're making money from it. But at the same time, they're making profit too because they're, if you want to say, lending it to someone else where they're paying off that debt. Like Spider-Man. Spider-Man is right now owned by Sony in the sense of like the video games, the I think the merchandise, everything that has to do with Spider-Man, they own that. So when Marvel needs, that's why if you look at it, this is why Marvel's trying to branch off and do their own thing with Spider-Man. But it's gonna be tricky for them because in the end, Sony still owns the rights to Spider-Man when it comes to like the movie division and stuff like that. So it puts Disney in a tight spot where they're like, well, we're screwed on both ends.
yeah. Do you think they're gonna how soon do you think they're gonna be sold off though?
I see it if things continue the way that they are, and this is a message for everybody. Everybody that's watching and stuff. If we continue to do what we're doing, one, boycotting, two, keeping our wallets closed, we
Yep.
might not even make it to Superman. Honestly, we might not because this is really, really bad.
It's just to
Like
just sit make Superman a tax write off.
exactly. And that's what I see could come from this. You're gonna tell me, let's say for example, you work at Netflix, you work at Universal, you work at Sony, whatever company that's big right now that doesn't have a massive debt like WB. You think that they're not right now savoring and saying, I'm waiting for this to drop so I can go in and make an offer and say, I'll buy your company, I'll buy you out of debt. Because like I said, the only two options that WB has right now, and they're gonna be forced, is to the following. One, you're gonna have to sell your company. Either it's a division, a subdivision, whatever it is, but that company is going downhill and it's gonna be like Marvel back in the 90s when they sold to Fox, they sold to Universal, they sold to which is the other one? Sony. So it's like, okay, you guys are losing everything. This is why
Yeah.
Disney has become the way that they are, and they bought the studio to shut the studio, but they still own the studio. That's insane. Like when they bought Fox, they didn't care about anything else. They just wanted the X-Men. You know why? Because they knew what they were going to build towards Secret Wars, what they were going to do with the next phases. They had a plan and it's all laid out. I'm sure that after Secret Wars, they have something that's going to lead to like the next 20 years and it's going to be insane. Every time is more and more because they have a plan. WB, they have no plan. They don't know what they're doing since the beginning. Because when Christopher Nolan finished with The Dark Knight Rises, which that was the worst movie of all three, you can clearly see that Nolan was tired. He's like, I don't care about these movies anymore. He wants to make his Inception and realistic tone type of world movies and stuff. So he was like, hey, look, WB, I have Zack Snyder. Let him do his thing, and you guys are going to be good. And it was going good. It was starting off good. Everything started getting screwed up at Batman versus Superman because that by that time we already had phase one, which was already Iron Man 1, and I think we were going into what? I think it was Iron Man 2 or 3, and then we had Civil War coming up. And once Batman
Mhm.
vs Superman was announced, they stole Comic Con at that year. I think it was 2013, 2014, something like that. They
Well,
stole Comic Con.
I feel like they're still banking on they're banking on Joker to make a billion. Because
It's not
if
gonna
the
reach a
second one
billion.
doesn't, you could just tell the first one was a fluke,
Yeah,
making a billion, and then
that's
they're also banking on Superman to make a billion for them. But I don't think that's gonna happen.
yeah, that's not gonna happen right now. It really is not. You know,
And I think
honestly, those
Barbie
two
making a
movies.
billion last year was a fluke as well.
Yeah, yeah, and even if it did, let's say it did, the debt that they're in, that billion is gone.
Hmm.
Because they have so much debt. So it's like, okay, you made $1 billion. That's like saying you made $1,000, but your debt is $10,000. Where's the profit? There's no profit because it's all going to whatever debt you have to pay, and the people, and the
Hmm.
employees, the lots, because those lots are not cheap. Those lots are expensive, even though that they own it, they own the land, but they still have to pay taxes on it. So it's like, yeah, you're screwed either way. Like it's
Yeah,
a tough one. It's a tough one.
it's
And
just
if WB wants to increase their go back into the green, it was a test with just announcing that Zack Snyder's gonna come back for what is it, the 300 prequel. It shot up instantly. Everything at Wall Street started going out of control. Why?
yeah.
Because people know that that's a
Well, to be,
brand, so
I'll
they're
be
like,
honest. I'll be honest with you. I kind of don't really care about that 300 series. If that's true, that's gonna happen. I just feel like it's kind of been almost been out like since like what, like almost 20 years now. It's just
yeah,
like at this point, it's like nobody really wants cares to see that. I'll be honest.
yeah,
Unless it's like they bring
but
back what's his name, Gerard Butler, to play Leonidas in it. That'd be pretty cool. But
it, they could do something. They could do something. Cause look, how long has it been that we haven't gotten a continuation of what's this movie coming up right now? Gladiator. How long has that been? It's been over what, like 15 years, I think, right?
yeah, but I don't know. It's like that's the second trailer that hasn't really impressed me for the
Yeah,
second movie.
yeah,
I don't know. It's like I don't really care, to be honest. It's especially what's his
yeah.
name, Pedro Pascal. I just feel like it's been overexposed.
Oh yeah, man. He's played out. He's played out.
He's
Every time I
played
see him,
out,
I'm like,
yeah.
man, I'm just tired of him. I'm like,
And he's
come
gonna
on,
come
get
back in
somebody else, man.
Fantastic Four. Speaking of which, did you see
Yeah,
the photos for those suits for Fantastic Four?
I kind of glimpsed through it. I saw it, but I didn't really pay attention. I was like, all right, like,
So bad.
yeah. I was like, I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, I don't like Fantastic Four, but I was like, I don't know what they're gonna do with
They've
that.
had like
I
two
really don't know.
attempts to bring back the original cast for Doctor Strange, Multiverse and Madness, and Deadpool and Wolverine. I mean, they brought back what's his name, Chris Evans as Johnny Storm in it, but then they killed him off. It's just so many
Yeah,
missed opportunities. They could have brought back the original cast for Fantastic Four, and they could have brought back the original cast for X Men, but they really didn't. I mean, it was cool to
yeah.
see Jennifer Gardner and Wesley Snipes come back,
Right. And of course,
but
you got
I just
Gambit
didn't.
that finally came.
Yeah, but I didn't really like that. I felt like they should have brought Taylor Kitsch back for them, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
that would have
From
been cool.
That would have been cool, but so many missed opportunities, man.
Yeah, man. Sometimes I don't know. I really don't know what they're thinking, or like I don't know. I just don't know. It's like sometimes they all sit in a meeting and then you probably have like 50 people that are like, you know what, let's go with this, let's do this, and in the end they
Yeah,
all end up putting a little bit of everything what they're all saying, and it
because they're
just
all just
doesn't
a
make
bunch
sense.
of cheap bastards. That's why.
Yeah, yeah. And they don't want to pay, so for sure they didn't want to probably pay the old actors and actresses to come back
Yeah, it just
that
sucks. We
much,
never
man.
got another trilogy with the original X Men cast.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have done that after Days of Future Past.
Yeah, yeah. Again, like you're saying, so many missed opportunities, and it's true. It's like they could have done so much with. It's just so much. I mean, Marvel is just so huge. It's just so massive that they have the money to do it. It's like just do it. That's it. Like just make
Yeah,
it happen. I mean, what are you guys like dwelling on? Just make it happen. That's it. That's why I'm like the same thing with WB is like, come on, you go from quality, it's like you guys go from this like completely quality, like from with the Snyderverse, and of course the whole thing
yeah,
with
it's like
Suicide
that too.
Squad.
It's like they miss opportunities so much with the DCU and what not restoring the Snyderverse at this point. It's just dumb, really. Um,
Yeah, I get it. It's hard. It's. I know. Sometimes I'm like, man, like, oh, I can't. How can I stay positive with all this negativity going around? And I get it. But if you look
yeah,
at it, it's awesome how now we have David Ayer coming out and even Jared Leto's like, yo, like, release the haircut. So like
I know, right?
there there's interest. So that's what we need. We just need more people to talk about it because that's what happened with the Snyder cut. Remember when
But unfortunately,
everybody
James Gunn's not going to let that happen.
but but let's be real. Let's be real. In the end, the same thing happened with Ann Sarnoff. Remember she did that interview, I think it was a variety,
Yeah,
that
that was
she
the
was all like
stupidest thing they ever did.
that was like when I read that, I was like, this lady's just so full of it. Watch, we're gonna prove her wrong. And look at what we did. We proved her wrong. To her, she was
Hmm.
fired. She supposedly she left on her own. Nah, that's because they knew that she was gonna get fired. So she was like, you know
Yeah,
what? I'm gonna step down. So she didn't want to take that heat. She knew what's up. Something and someone. Of course, we have what's his name? The guy and the lady, Lucas. I can't remember the name right now.
Kathleen Kennedy.
Paul, I think Abdi, Paul Abdi, or what's his name?
Oh, you mean
I
from yeah, Pam Abdi,
Yeah.
like
So
DeLuca.
yeah, there you go. Mike and Pam. Both of them, they made it possible for us to get that Snyder cut.
Yeah,
They're still there, but they're probably giving them war over inside the studio. Like, hey, there's no way this is gonna see the daylight. Yes, it is, as long as you have the fans demanding it. That's the only way we can get them. That's what I'm saying. If we all continue to do what we're doing and just boycott, I mean, the Suicide Squad was trash. It flopped at the box office. There's no
yeah, it was.
excuse. There's no excuse. Oh, the pandemic? Screw the pandemic. People were out watching Spider-Man No Way Home. People were sitting on the stairs, on the steps, overcrowded when we
Yeah,
were
it's a
doing that whole
stupid
social
excuse.
distance. So therefore, it proves to you nobody cares about the Suicide Squad and nobody cares about James Gunn. And
Yeah,
what
nobody
the little
cares
bit of
about
people
the
that
creature commandos.
nobody
That
have you
looks
seen
like
the
that looked
trailer?
like
It hasn't even reached a million. It hasn't even reached a million views.
exactly.
That tells
And
you
it's
everything.
just all he did was just make Suicide Squad again with
That's
that
it.
shit.
That's it. He's using all
It's
these
like that's all
oddball
he can do.
characters.
And it's just
That's all
like
he
with
could do.
Superman,
Yep.
dude. It's like people like to bitch at how Man of Steel and BBS were flops because they didn't make a billion. Well,
Yep.
there's no excuse this time. If Gun Superman doesn't make a billion, it's going to be considered a flop. You know,
Yep.
it's
And that's another
DOA.
thing too. It's complete DOA. It's done before it even starts, and they know it. And that's what's like funny about the whole thing. They know that it's done. This is why they're coming out barking again. All these
Hmm.
trolls are coming out of the woods the same way that they came out for and after with the Snyder Cut. They were all like, "Oh no, we can't let this happen." You know how many channels, how many people are quiet now? There are so many YouTubers, so many other channels talking about, "Oh, that's the end for the Snyderverse." Oh, that unicorn that was never gonna happen. They were so positive that we would never get it. And then in their face, go to Target right now, go to Walmart right now where they sell physical media, and you'll still see them at regular price. But then go to Walmart and you walk at the clearance section, and what do you see? James Gunn overstocked at the $5 bin. Nobody's buying it because
Yeah.
nobody cares about it. Even in the streaming, like these fake numbers, I'm not dumb. Those are fake numbers. Oh, Suicide Squad is the number one movie in the
You
world.
know
Yeah,
what's
you know
funny?
why? Yeah,
You know what's funny? It's like they also said like Wonder Woman 1984 was the number one most sold Blu-ray
remember that?
movie of 2021 or some shit. And I feel like
Yep,
that's a fucking lie, dude.
of
Because
course it
every
is.
time I
It's
went to
just
the store, I saw that movie just stacked on piled up shelves. No one was
nobody
buying that
cares about
shit.
it. Nobody's buying none of that. That's the thing. But every time you look at stuff that's with Zack Snyder, always sold out. Sold out. It took me a while to
Exactly.
get the Snyder cut. It took a while. And I came across it one day just randomly going to Target and I was like, let me go see what they have in the movie section. And I completely forgot the Snyder cut was out because I'm so used to at the time that it was sold out, sold out, sold out. And then when I look, I'm like, hold on, what? Nah, this I can't believe what I'm looking at right now. I was like, this is impossible. And I'm like, I got the Snyder cut in my hands. I was like,
Yep.
I was in shock because I was like, this is what we've been fighting for, and we got it. It's literally in physical media. That's why it cracks me up when all these trolls are coming out saying, "Oh, the Snyder Cut only was released. Oh, now you have an excuse because it was released because of the pandemic, right?" They just can't face that we made that possible. And the same thing now is with David Ayer's Suicide Squad because we're gonna get that in due time. It's just a matter of time.
Yep.
David Ayer's like, yo, I'm done. Like, yes, I get it. He's tired. Like he's stressed out. He wants his cut out there, and that's why he's fighting along with us. And then for Jared Leto to post that on his Instagram, dude has 11 million followers. In like 30 minutes when he
Exactly.
posted it, he had like 35,000 what is it, likes, and I was like, that's insane.
Yeah,
That's
and what's
insane.
funny is I rather see Jared Leto come back. I really don't care about Joaquin Phoenix's Joker anymore.
Yeah, me neither.
it's just I don't know. To me, that's like you realize that's not Joker. The
Yeah, and
more
they
you
even
look
said
at
it.
it, it's
Look at
not
what Todd
that's
Phillips said.
yeah,
You saw that the article, right? The one where he's like, "Oh well, this is not gonna be the Joker. This is just, in other
yeah,
words, some guy that's just going through it, and we'll
yeah.
just
It's
put
just
the
Joker in
Joker's
name
name on
only.
it." I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna be bad." The only
Yeah.
reason that movie might make some more money is just because of Lady Gaga, and even like that, I don't think it's going to reach that billion.
Plus,
It
it's
won't.
weird. The budget for that is 200 million, whereas the first one was like hardly like 70 million. So
Right? Yeah.
it's like the budget's astronomically higher than in the first one. And if the second movie doesn't even make a billion, then it's going to be considered failure.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see
I
once
really
the
don't know
movie is
how that
done.
movie even cost 200 million. To be honest, it's like what
You
is
know
it
what
going
I
to have
think?
CGI and shit?
You know what I think it is the same thing like what happened with the Flush when Andy Muschietti was like, you know what? He probably when he had the meeting with WB was like, look, I can make you the Flash. It's gonna be the best. Blah blah blah. We're gonna make a
Yeah,
billion dollars. What easily? He sold them a lie. And then what I think Andy Muschietti and now what James Gunn is doing because what Superman is costing also another 300 million, about 200 million, I think
yeah, they're
250. I
gonna
don't know.
lie about that budget. They lied about the budget for the Batman. I think that movie cost way more than 200 million because of all
Yeah,
the pushbacks and reshoots they had to do. Same with the Flash, and I think same with Aquaman too. You know what they all have in common? They all say, oh, each of those movies they costed 200 million to make. It's like, wow, is that really your safe number? Is 200 million, 200 million, 200 million?
now let's do the numbers. Let's say the Andy Muschietti, James Gunn, all these directors, right? They're getting 2 to 300 million. Okay, that's just to make the movie. This is what I think is happening. The following, all right?
Hmm.
They're getting the 300 million, right? Max. And they're like, you know what, WB, we're gonna give you this in return. Whatever, we're gonna probably make a billion. I don't know. What they're doing is probably from that 200 or 300 million, they're probably separating like 50 to 60, max 80 million. And they're pocketing the rest. And they're like, we're gonna make the movie with 80 or 90 million. Just whatever comes from that, that's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna get the
Yeah.
cheapest special effects, the cheapest actors, and this is why James Gunn is going with a whole bunch of like cheap actors because he can't afford nothing that's big anymore. And he knows it. This is why I think they did what they did with Henry Cavill because they're like, we can't pay him that. It's like, but he's gonna bring in those numbers, but they don't want to
Yeah,
invest that.
Calvary.
Yeah, it's like, come on. And then they did what they did to him. They screwed him over. Not once, twice, three times. And then look
Hmm.
at where he's at now. It's like, okay, now he's at Marvel. He's over with Disney. That's it. To me, that's it. It's game over with them. Like, look, I prefer DC more, but what Marvel is doing right now, well played. You pulled your ace card because you're taking
Hmm.
these actors and actresses that you know that they have a fan, like a fan following. And they're like, you know what? Screw it. We're going to do it ourselves. And they know that Henry Cavill has a following. So they're going to be like, well, those Henry Cavill fans are going to come over. Now with Gal Gadot and that Snow White, they're going to come over. Oh, What if we bring Ben Affleck with this whole multiverse and variant that we're doing? I think that's coming. I think that's coming.
Always
It's
they
nuts,
always like to they always like to use the excuse all that Black Adam is proof that Henry Cavill's not a big draw and shit.
Yeah, and it's
But
crazy. It's like, come
it's
on.
like that was only a cameo. It's like that's like nothing. And it's like
Yeah,
especially
what it
when
was like 4 seconds,
yeah. And it's like nobody even really asked for a Black Adam movie to begin with, let alone even know who Black Adam is.
right? They should have
Other
set
than they just see
everything up.
it's The Rock, really.
Yeah, they should have just had what they were gonna go originally with, like set up with Man of Steel 2, and then bring in Shazam or whatever they wanted to do, and then bring in and introduce or set up Black Adam,
Yeah.
like leading
But
into another film.
the
But
stupid thing is they should have just went and made Man of Steel 2 before Black Adam even came out. I don't even know
yeah,
why
yeah,
they thought, oh, let's wait and see how Black Adam does first. It's like,
yeah. I don't know,
the
man.
fuck?
And you
It's
can even
stupid.
see how like WB was screwing around with that movie because that movie's a PG-13, but it's a hard PG-13. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, did the Rock just throw a missile at this dude and kill him? It's like what? Like, yeah, he did that. And I was like, oh, okay, I can see what they were trying to do. They're trying to go after the Snyderverse, style, which was cool. I was like, all right, awesome, that's good, because it would have been in
Hmm.
tone with it. And they were trying to set things up because remember that The Rock kept on talking about, like him facing off Superman. It could have been a possibility and stuff like that. So I just think James Gunn came and screwed everything up, man. He was
And
like, you know
yes,
what?
Peter
I'm just gonna screw
Saffron.
everything up. Yeah, they just screwed everything up, and just made it difficult more than what it is now. It can still be
It,
fixed. I mean, with the power of the multiverse, it's like you have the Flash. That's it. All you gotta do is do the same thing like they did in Zack Snyder's
yeah, but that
Justice League.
also never really went anywhere. The way how
Yeah,
they cut it and
yeah,
stuff. And
exactly. The way
it's
they did
just,
it, yeah, it was completely nuts.
man, I don't know. It's if Superman doesn't make a billion, it's DOA.
It's
It's like
done. It's done.
it's done.
It's
Yeah,
not going to be. It's not going to make a million. I mean, a billion. It's not.
it's not.
Like
Yeah,
they're putting all their eggs in one basket with this whole reboot. It's not going to work. We're telling you for a while it's not going to work. Since the moment they announced the reboot, it's not going to work because people don't care about that. People just want more and a proper conclusion to the Snyderverse. Just put the
exactly.
air cut out there. We want to see everything that we were promised. It's like
Yeah, want
we're
to make
supposed
the
to get
Ben
a
Affleck
cyber
the
movie.
Batman movie too with Ben Affleck.
And that's the thing, they're scared. It's like WB's scared of success. Like, just put the damn movie out there. They thought with Robert Pattinson and the Batman, they were gonna make a billion. It didn't make it. It didn't. So it
No,
proves
dude.
to you it's like it's not enough fans for that. Like why not continue and just finish what you already prepared and you already built? That's what I like about Marvel. Like Marvel put out Thor 2, Thor 2, 3, and what they're up to like 4 or 5 now? I don't even know anymore.
Yeah,
But the last one was terrible. That God Thunder or Thunder Love, I don't even know what it's called. I was
yeah.
like, "Oh, what the hell was this?" Like, but they're still going at it. Like, that's what matters. That there's the continuity is still there. You still have Chris Hemsworth, that he's still playing the act. I mean, the character, and it's like, what's so hard? You have Ben Affleck, just continue with him. You have Henry Cavill, continue with him. When everything is done, then do your little stupid reboot or do whatever you want. But no, they just halfway through. Oh, we're just gonna stop everything and we're gonna reset everything. What? Like, what the hell just happened?
It's like the moment they did that. That's like the moment they. That's when they lost. It's already
Big
over.
time.
It's
Yep.
like, it's really I don't get the thought process with these people. And
Oh,
then
look at that. Look at what somebody posted. WMIR. He goes Jurassic World and Fantastic Four will wipe it out. Ain't going to be no Barbenheimer
yeah,
situation. Yeah, yeah. Oh, for sure. When that Jurassic World, I think it's gonna come out the same, if not the same weekend. I think the week after or the week before. But I know it's coming out in the same time
same month,
as Superman.
same month. Yep.
Yeah. So Yeah, yeah, they're not gonna
But
make those
knowing
numbers
James,
that they're
if James
expecting.
Gunn was smart, he would push the movie back. But with his ego and pride, I don't think he's gonna do that though.
Yeah, he's not gonna move it. After being
Yeah.
already announced and everything, he's not gonna move it and say, "Hey, look, let's move it." Nope, nope.
Nope.
And if they leave it
Oh,
like that, I'll go watch probably Jurassic World for like 4 times or something. Oh man,
yeah.
it's gonna be insane.
I mean, it's already like the Jurassic World. Even though I don't like those movies, they're a $1 billion franchise already. Last three
Yeah, that's
films
it.
that made a billion.
It's crazy, and it's like they don't care anymore. They're just like, we don't care. Like the Fast Saga, man, 1, 2, and 3 were good. Then after that, it just went downhill. Now I take that movie as it is. It's just an entertainment BS movie where it's like, hey, they're just having fun. That's all I care about. Like that last movie
Yeah,
was
I
so
kind of,
ridiculous,
I
man.
kind of like lost interest after Paul Walker died. So it's like after the
Yeah,
seventh movie,
yeah,
I just kind of like got over it.
it was
Yeah,
crazy, man. You saw the one where they went into space and all that.
yeah, that was so
That's
stupid.
what I'm saying. I'm like, man, like that's what it's become. Literally, that's what the Fast Saga has become. But now it's like they don't care anymore. They're making so much money, so it's like, okay, well, why can't DC do something similar? Not to like just put trash, but I'm just saying, like, why can't they just continue with something that's already
The
been
same, the same
established?
thing with Star Wars and Transformers is dead too.
Oh yeah, man,
I
that whole
just don't.
Transformers.
Yeah, dude, I really like wish. I think if they announced that Michael Bay was coming back to direct Transformers and GI Joe movie, that would generate hype.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Like I was reading something about that. What's this guy Bond the main producer? He was saying something about that now, that new reboot. It doesn't take place in a different timeline. So it's like, dude, are you playing with me? Are you telling me that it's hint connected to the Bayverse and what we already have? I hope so. Like Rise
Yeah,
of
I
the
wish
Beast.
they did
You
a
saw Rise
sequel
of
to
the
the
Beast,
Last
didn't you?
Night.
Yeah, so it's like, come on, like you can't just leave that up in the air, It's like
Like, yeah, finally
I
we
get
were
it.
about to get Unicron, and then you just stop, and then it's like once we do get Unicron again within the last movie, it's like he doesn't even transform. You know,
Yeah, I was
it's
like, come on, like it's nuts, It's like that's the same thing with WB. You're gonna bring in Darkseid, and all of a sudden he doesn't exist anymore. Like how? It
yeah,
just
I
breaks my
don't
head.
get
I'm
that.
like, how does this company function? It's like you guys have Darkseid, the biggest threat of them all, saying like Unicron, and you're just not gonna do anything with it. Like, why even bring him into the movie? It just doesn't make sense.
Yep, and it's like with this James Gunn Superman, it's like where is that going to lead to? I just don't. It's funny how people said like Zack Snyder was rushing everything, but then it's like with James Gunn's first Superman, it's like you get all these Justice League characters showing up, and it's like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Like, what
yeah,
is this going to
oh,
be about? Like,
yeah. It's a mess. Look at this comment that Ray puts. He was like, "I was out when they killed off Starscream in a puss way." They did. They took out Starscream terrible, man. I was like, "Come on, like they're gonna do him like that." And they should have
yeah,
introduced the Dinobots when they did Beast Wars. Yep, they should have. They should have. Hey, what's going on, Ace? It's crazy, Like, all right, look, let's put it out there because this is something I've been wanting to talk about. When we had the Transformers with Michael Bay, that was quality. When we had Christopher Nolan with The Dark Knight Rises, that was quality. Zack Snyder in the Snyderverse, quality. David Ayer with Suicide Squad, quality. Once everything stopped with all of these studios have been going downhill. Hasbro with the Transformers has been going down and it keeps on going down and it just gets worse. And I'm like, okay, so what? Now you guys are gonna do a crossover with G.I. Joe? Okay, that's interesting. I'm down for that. But how is it going to be? In the sense like, is the old cast coming back? Is it gonna be a reboot? Like how do you explain that? You get what I'm saying? Like
Well,
I'm like,
I'll be
uh,
honest. Like when they first announced that, I was like, I don't really care because it's like I never really grew up with GI Joe. I just think it's like
okay,
kind of dumb. It's like GI Joe and Transformers. Like okay, like it's like that doesn't really excite me unless you I hear that Michael Bay is directing it, and then that's when I'll check that shit out. You know, it's like that will generate hype. For me.
yeah, and it's like, man,
Especially if
like
it's
these all
if he comes back and does that as like as a sequel to the Last Night, because it's like that kind of makes sense. You know, it's like okay, you set up Unicron. It's like the Transformers. You know, they can team up with the GI Joe to take down Unicron. It's like
that would be
why not?
badass right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I hear that the comics are amazing. I never like I was never a GI Joe fan. And
Yeah.
even while I grew up with it, like I didn't care about the toys. I was like, I don't care about it. Transformers, it was like, okay. Like but then like more and more I got into Transformers more because of the
Mhm.
Bayverse, honestly. That's what made me get into it. And the same thing with what Zack Snyder did with Superman. Before
Mhm.
Zack Snyder gave us Man of Steel, I didn't care about Superman. I was never interested in that character just because he's too damn powerful. Like this dude shoots laser eyes, like you can't shoot him because like bullets don't do anything to him. He can blow his breath and it turns you into ice, and it's like, but then his weakness is just a glow stick, whereas the kryptonite. I'm like, how? Like, I've always been a Batman fan, and you know what Zach did when I saw Man of Steel, I was like, whoa, like this is a
Was
whole
like
game changer.
they
Like,
also they said they want to reboot Power Rangers, but it's like I have no interest because it's like you already tried to reboot it. You didn't even try to do it one more sequel with the 2017 cast. You know, and it's like
right? Yeah,
I have
and
no interest. Yeah,
yeah,
because I
that's what
actually
I'm
did
saying.
like
Like,
that
I
Power
feel
Ranger.
like those designs were good. I didn't like the Megazord, that was terrible, but that movie was good for what it was. I was like, okay, like this is a different take. I like where this is heading, because it's not, of course, like the classic and the original, but I don't know, it's just something where it still captured that style, but with a modern take, and that's what I liked about it. But again,
Yeah,
who's the one that owned it? Not Bandai, Saban. I'm like, okay, so what now? Like that's it. You're just gonna leave it up in the air? I'm like, I just don't get it. I
yeah.
really
It's
don't get
like
it.
it's just like it's your job. It's like their jobs to learn from. Okay, see what worked and what didn't work, and then in the sequel we can like improve upon it. You know.
Yeah,
But it's like they don't want. It's like these studios don't want to do that. It's like they're afraid of learning and they're afraid of like taking risks and they're afraid of like just like doing commitments. You know,
yeah,
they always just want to do the lazy routes, like reboot, reboot, reboot.
yeah. Everything's a reboot. It's like, and then this is what cracks me up. After they do reboots, they run out of ideas and they're like, you know what? How about we bring in like, for example, Michael Keaton, Linda Carter. Let's go all the way back to Adam West. Why? You should have continued that and ended it properly. Watch when like James Gunn, I'm just exaggerating because it's not gonna get there. But let's say it does pick off and it goes deep, right? What he gonna do? Bring Henry Cavill, old man version of him, and be like, "Oh, we're gonna do him with a stupid dick joke," and with him with gray hair, and just be like, "Oh, just to please the Snyder fans." Come on, man. Come on. It's like
No, that's
it
stupid.
wasn't. It was so stupid what they did on Peacemaker when they brought in the quote unquote Justice League on that one. I was like, you guys can't even bring Cyborg or Batman. Come on, it's like
Yeah, that
it's
was stupid.
embarrassing. It's embarrassing. They thought that they were
It's
gonna
so
make bank
dumb.
with Michael Keaton with the flush, and it didn't work.
Yeah, it's
And for sure,
just
that was James Gunn that he was like, oh, let's end Michael Keaton's version of Batman once and for all, and he did a good job at that. That I gotta give it to him. Because thanks to him,
yeah,
we have no Batman Beyond now.
yeah. It's just it's all about James Gunn and his ego now.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it's all come down to. But this is why we had to keep on doing what we're doing. It's
And
just
keep those
keep
wallets
those
closed.
wallets closed. That's it.
But
Just
the
keep
thing
those
is, it's
wallets
like
closed, and that's it.
but it sucks because it's like I'm trying to remember. I responded to some quote saying like, okay, so Warner Brothers they it's like they know they're fucking up, but they just don't care. You know,
Yeah. Then the
it's
same
just
way with us, we shouldn't care either, you know? Because it's like, okay, you don't want to cater to us, that we're your customer and we support you, that's fine. Then at the box office we'll get you. And that's it. That's as
it's like
easy as it
because
is.
that it's like that Cal Rain cameo in Deadpool was like shitting on Warner Brothers, right? And it's like either Warner Brothers just doesn't know or they do know and they just don't care. It's like
I think that they
they
know.
just want to
Like,
continue being a laughing stock.
yeah. It's just it's something where it's like, man, it's just the leadership. It's just the leadership that they have. They have the wrong people on the inside whatever WB is, and they just have no idea. You know, it's like
But it's like
these are probably
it's
old people.
I'm noticing that stuff in my real job too. It's like almost like every job I've had recently, it's like the leadership, the management, they're just like a bunch of clowns. They shouldn't. It's like people that shouldn't even be there in charge.
Yeah,
And that's why you
but
get
yet they're the
people
ones
always
with
like
power.
leaving and shit because it's like they're just so completely
Yeah,
out of
it's like
touch. You know.
there's a saying. I don't know if you've probably seen it online that it says people don't leave jobs because bad jobs. They leave jobs because of piss poor management, and that's true. That's the
Yeah, they
reason
do.
why people leave jobs.
They
Most
do.
of the time is that because it's just no good leadership, and when you don't have good leadership, I mean, this is the outcome. WB is where they're at because they chose that path. They could have done and stayed on course and said, you know what, we're gonna stick it and go with it. The critics are talking bad, we don't care. That's why with Netflix they don't care. They're like, we're making money, we got subscribers, so we don't care.
Well, the old
And
Netflix,
that's where they invested.
the
The
old
old one,
Netflix
yeah,
with before Dan Lin,
yeah.
they didn't care, but now with this new one, it's like with Dan Lin, we don't know.
Yeah, that
It's like
whole yeah, that Dan Lin, I don't got a good vibe about him, man. Honestly, Dan Lin was mocking us recently. He was talking in an interview. You could look it up on YouTube or Google,
yeah,
whatever.
I know, I get it.
And yeah, it's like, come on, man. Like, this is what awaits us at Netflix. All right. But again, I tagged Netflix the other day on what do you call it, on Twitter, X. And I told him, hey, get it together. Don't screw it up like WB. you know?
Yeah, well,
Let's see.
it's
Yeah.
like okay, if they shove Army of the if it's like this, I like Rebel Moon more than Army of the Dead personally. So if they shelve Army of the Dead just so they can make more Rebel Moon, I'll be okay. I'll be okay with that. Even though I would like to
Yeah.
see both
I think.
universes continue, but if I have to see
Yeah.
one get sacrificed, I'd choose the Army universe just because it's like I'm kind of over zombies. You know, I feel like that
I
genre's kind
like
of been
zombies. I
overplayed.
just don't like. I just didn't like Army of the Dead. Honestly, like,
Yeah,
and that's I'm a
I
Zack
think
Snyder fan. I just
it
didn't
was
like it.
it was a good action film, but it wasn't a good zombie film. Like especially compared to his Dawn of the Dead. You know,
Yeah,
that
Dawn of
had
the
good
Dead was
action
good.
and zombie
Yeah,
stuff to it. But it's like yeah, after seeing the director's cuts of Rebel Moon, I would like to see that get expanded upon, just because I feel like it's more. There's so much lore there, and it's like you
yeah,
can. It's like those director's cuts really showed Lucasfilm and Disney like how to do Star Wars properly. You know,
yeah.
this is
And
which
they're
is
taking
they've
notes.
been fucking up on.
Yeah, I know they're taking notes from that, so
But it's
I
like
wouldn't be
if they're
surprised.
so it's like if Netflix shelves that too, then it's like all right, I give up. It's like I'm
Yeah.
unsubscribing from Netflix and
Oh, for sure,
yeah.
for sure. But yeah, man. But yeah, I'm about to end the live stream. I'm about
Okay.
to get going real quick and stuff. But it was a good little live stream that we had. We got to do another one soon and stuff like that. So
Yeah, within the next week or so.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll do something. We'll do something. We'll
Yeah.
probably do one with a little bit more people and stuff like that. So anybody
Yeah.
that wants to join, hit me up. Like
I
send me
like
a
to do one with
message.
strong arm flicks
Um,
so that we can all talk shit about James Gunn again.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's just
for
it's just
sure.
good
That's
therapy, you know.
yeah, for sure. I mean, we need that. You know, the more people we have talking and making noise, that's what they don't want. They don't want that, you know, and
Yeah,
they know
they
what's
don't.
up. You know, the same thing. The same thing happened with the Snyder Cut, and they're seeing it is happening again with David Ayer. So, you know, it's just a matter of time, and we just have to keep going at it. The Snyder Cut didn't come overnight. It took us years, but we got it. And the same thing, you know, with David Ayer. It looks like it's gonna be a
Yeah,
little bit longer, but we're gonna get it. You know, and that's what we need to do. Exactly,
yep,
like Ray says, we need the true DC fans to unite. That's true. But thank y'all for watching. As always, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe. Show Film Gob some love. Hit the
yeah.
subscribe
Thanks for having
also.
me, man.
Yeah, man. Anything else you want to say before we go?
No, just like like hashtag restore the Snyderverse, hashtag release the Erica, and hashtag fire James Gunn.
Hell yeah. But yeah, man. All right, so y'all keep posting. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you for coming on the channel and we spoke a bit. So that was good.
Yeah,
But
it
yeah,
was
we'll
good.
keep posting and we'll catch up.
Will do. All right, you take care,
All
man.
right. Have a good one. All right then.
You too.
Later.